Good evening. I'm Renee Ng in for Giselle Fernandez. Great to have you with us. And our top story this Friday night, President Donald Trump working to dial back controversy after accusing several Democratic lawmakers of, quote, seditious behavior and calling for them to be arrested and put on trial for behavior that he said could be punishable by death. The lawmakers, who are veterans, posted a video telling service members to refuse to follow illegal orders. Republicans say the video incites violence and openly calls for an insurrection. Democrats, however, say they're simply following the law and making sure the military upholds its oath to the Constitution, not a king. And we begin tonight with Anna Albarian live downtown with reaction to this growing controversy. Hi, Anna.
Renee, good evening. This video and President Trump's reaction to it is sparking headlines nationwide, but there is a local connection. Here behind the federal building in downtown Los Angeles is where we first saw deployment of National Guard troops that were federalized by the president. This is an action that is currently being decided in courts whether or not this was lawful. And the Congress people, veterans who made this video, said that might have been the impetus to their message.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
This is the PSA released by a group of Democratic veterans in Congress that has since sparked a national debate. The congressional members saying it was a reminder to active military members that they are legally allowed to refuse unlawful orders. But the video drew fierce criticism from President Donald Trump, who posted on his Truth Social account calling the video seditious, even saying it should be punishable by death. Hal Kempfer is a retired Marine lieutenant colonel and defense expert based in Long Beach. He says the underlying message in the PSA is actually rooted in military law.
There is a general requirement in the Uniform Code of Military Justice under the Geneva Convention and international law that if you receive an unlawful order that you're not supposed to obey it. The problem is figuring out what is an unlawful order. In this case with the PSA, the challenge is you're telling every military member down to the lowest private or seaman or whatever, airman, that they're supposed to figure this out.
When asked what may have inspired the video, Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan seemed to reference the president's recent actions, federalizing National Guard troops across the country, starting in Los Angeles back in June.
We've seen hundreds of examples of President Trump's orders being questioned by the courts, and hundreds of examples of those being ruled, sometimes by Trump's judges themselves, that they are unlawful.
But the White House called the PSA dangerous, saying it could undermine military discipline.
To suggest and encourage that active duty service members defy the chain of command is a very dangerous thing for sitting members of Congress to do.
Legal experts, including former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani, say the president's accusation of sedition simply doesn't hold up.
Typically, you see seditious conspiracy charged when someone's trying to overthrow the United States. That's not what is happening here. Here you have members of Congress who are telling military personnel not to follow unlawful orders. And that's actually the law.
Kempfer says regardless of the politics, the controversy lands on top of what's already an unprecedented level of pressure on the U.S. military.
There's a lot of stress within the system right now with deployments and a lot of other things going on. And then this is put on top of it.
For now, the lawmakers who posted the PSA say they stand by it, even as the political rhetoric around it grows sharper. Now, Renee, the president has since dialed down the temperature on these comments. And of course, security has been added and boosted for the Democratic lawmakers who made these videos out of concern that perhaps the comments made on the Truth Social accounts could spark violence against the lawmakers. We've seen a lot of political violence in this last year.
And Anna, can you update us on the current National Guard court cases?
Yeah, of course. So just yesterday, a federal judge did find that the deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. was unlawful. Of course, we don't know if the Trump administration will plan to appeal that decision. It is very likely. The deployment to Chicago is still being possibly taken up by SCOTUS. We have not heard that yet. And the decision for California's National Guard, well, that's still tied up in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So a lot of the emphasis here on whether or not these decisions were lawful or unlawful, all those decisions are still tied up in court, so we'll have to see.
All right. Thank you so much, Anna.